Madam President, this is day 2 of the story of Iowa's worst economic development deal ever. I would just, before I get going here, I passed out a map this morning that describes what I'm going to talk about. I have a graphic here if you want to come in for a look at it. There are a lot of numbers involved in these economic development deals, but to understand why Orascom is the worst Iowa deal ever, you only need to understand one number. And that number is $300 million. Iowa had a $300 million advantage over Illinois before Governor Branstad put a single state tax dollar or a single local dollar on the table. A $300 million advantage from the get-go. To compete with Iowa, Illinois would have had to pony up $300 million in cold, hard cash just to be as attractive as Iowa was before we put one thin dime on the deal. That's the truth, and that is really what makes this the worst economic development deal in the state's history. Here's what I'm talking about. Here's what I've been talking about to the Iowa Department of Economic Development, also known as, I can't seem to get their new name in my head right, the Iowa Economic Development Authority and others. The state of Iowa had available to it so-called Midwest Disaster Area Bonds. These are federal bonds that help businesses recover from the 2008 floods. Private companies can apply to the Iowa Finance Authority to use these bonds at tax-exempt rates. Iowa actually got about $2.6 billion in disaster bonds. Orascom was approved for $1.2 billion of these bonds, the expected cost of the fertilizer plant, by the Iowa Finance Authority in April of 2012. If you can use MDA bonds, if you do use them to borrow money, you can save basically 1 to 2 percentage points on the cost of that borrowing. Access to these bonds will mean a savings of approximately $300 million to Orascom. Every proposed Orascom site in Iowa qualified for the bonds in terms of Scott County and Lee County, but not a single site in Illinois that this company looked at had access to bonds, because in 2008 those counties where they were considering locating, by all accounts, did not have flooding damage in 2008. So the question this morning for the governor is, how did this happen? Was the competition from Illinois real or simply a fabrication? Madam President, we're going to explore that in a little bit more detail tomorrow. Thank you.